So welcome everybody to our Wednesday night service here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Paul Pursuti and I'll be your host. Tonight is Wednesday, November 9th. I always like to start us off by saying, hello, church family. One of our practitioners, Richard Robinson, always greeted us with that when he did meditation on Sunday morning. So in his honor, I say that. Hello, church family, because it is so, so true. So we welcome you. We're glad you're all here tonight. And why do we call it our midweek oasis, our Wednesday night service as the oasis? It's because this is a place where we can be together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays. We present our Wednesday night services in our version of satsang style with the intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and rich. Now here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, we have an annual theme, and the annual theme is Wonder, Wonder Everywhere. And our monthly theme is Living Everyday Wonder, and for the month of November, it is focused on home. So this month we'll explore the everyday wonder of our most familiar place, which is home, and we'll be using the hero's journey as the arc of our narratives each week this month. It is potentially everyone's journey of discovery, self-mastery, and transformation. The truth of the hero's journey is that our ultimate destination is a return to the truth of who we are. Spiritual beings having a human experience. When we live from that truth, we can be at home wherever we go and empower others to do the same for themselves. Also, in alignment with our November theme of home, we are celebrating American Indian Heritage Month. Now, if you're here joining us for the first time, you found us obviously on the website, or if you're watching us on our YouTube channel as this recording, we encourage you to poke around the website. There's all kinds of icons and memes and things to connect you and give you more information, as well as a place where you can sign up on the I'm New icon for our Thursday Village News. That's down in the lower left-hand corner of that page. And if you put in your email address, you'll begin receiving the Thursday Village News newsletter conveniently in your email inbox every week. We're going to ask, if you haven't done it already, to mute your microphone and your camera, because that will improve the quality of the transmission. And we have special and important announcements, so please stay for them at the end of the program. Our speaker tonight, and I believe he is ready and in the house. Let me just double check and make sure. Luchan, are you present, sir? He's putting the kids to bed.
Yes, I am ready.
You are ready. Okay, you got them all locked up and safe and sound, right? Oh my goodness. Practitioner and ministerial student Luchan Baker. Now, most of us already know him, and I don't have his bio in front of me, but if one thing I can say, he's wonderful, he's dynamic, and he always imparts wisdom on us that is something that sticks with you throughout the week. So without further ado, I introduce our speaker, Luchan Baker, tonight. And Luchan, if you can you start us with prayer?
Yes, I can. So right now in this moment, we know there is one life, one mind, one heartbeat, one breath, one everything. We know this by many names. We celebrate in this life, this oneness, knowing that we put our God selves forward. We open ourselves to the message that moves through me, moves through all of us. And we are here in that one accord, that oneness, to hear this lesson and to grow together. So I bless this moment, knowing it is God's moment and that there are no accidents in the universe. I rejoice in this, knowing all is well for this God moment. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Amen.
Uh-oh. Can't hear you.
There it is. Okay. How is everyone doing? So glad to be here at our Wednesday night Oasis. The title, the theme of this week is very interesting, considering the growth process that I myself have been dealing with. We're talking about roots and wings. You know, on one hand, it's very important for us to be in tune with our roots, be in tune with who we are. It's very important. But also comes a time where we need to leave the nest. So what I thought about with this title was how oftentimes when it was time for me to ride my bike farther than usual, when it was like, okay, you know how to ride around the corner a few times, boy, now you get to go a little bit farther out of the comfort zone that you're used to. It would always be, at least for my mom, because we lived in South Berkeley on Tyler Street, and Malcolm X was about maybe 4 blocks down. So mom would always say, just don't go past the 4th stop sign. That was my boundary, and I felt so grown when I got to do that. And I would have this adventure along the way. What would I see? What would I come across? Would a dog chase me? That was my biggest fear. Would a dog chase me home? And then it was, you know, will the big kids tease me because, you know, my bike isn't cool as theirs. And, you know, these were the adventures I think about. What I'm realizing is, while mama might have told me, don't go past the 4th stop sign, God's telling us just don't go past the universe. Sit. You can go wherever you want. Just don't go past the universe. We all have the things in our lives that you know, as long as that doesn't happen, right? Everything will be fine. As long as I don't have to experience that. This is me. Maybe I'm imposing on you, but I feel as humans, we all have that experience. I could deal with anything. Just don't let it be that one thing. And the truth is, we can deal with anything, period. Comfort is, at least with me, you know, the kids now, they love to use cool words for opponents or so-called enemies. So now it's ops. I don't know if you've been hearing it lately. I've been feeling so cool and not feeling like a 40-year-old dad, but I get to use the word ops all the time. And of course, ops is opposition, right? So my biggest ops is my own comfort. That's what I'm realizing. My ego likes me being comfortable. When I feel like it's time to expand my consciousness and whatever that is bothering me, the ego was like, no, man, lash out. Lash out. Don't see the God in the situation. Don't center yourself. You know, check that situation. And I'm realizing, no, hold on. If I really do believe God is all there is, then that means everything I see along the way, along this journey, that God has given me the boundaries of just not going past the universe. If I really believe that God is all there is, then that means those scary things I see along the way, that is God too. And it's not on me to judge it as anything else but God. There are many different faces of God. We choose the ones we like. You know, we all have our favorite face of God, right? You know, when the sun is shining, and the ocean water is warm, but there's just no sharks in it for some reason, and everybody at the beach looks the way we think they need to be looking so that our eyes aren't offended, and you know, that's the perfect day for us, right? What about the day where there are sharks in that water? where it's a storm going on the beach and the sharks just decided to have their Thanksgiving dinner that day when you decided to want to swim. And what if that day is a God day too? We all ask to be great at some point in our life. Number one is you already are. Surprise. Yeah, you are. You're already great. But of course, being the light already, since we're already the light, all of us, you know, that light, the source, we're all just pieces of it. God just broke a piece of itself off, and there you were, the light expressed in you, through you, and as you. But that's not enough. See, to be in the light and to be of the light means, yes, I'm a part of this huge light, but I'm not standing out. And as much as we love talking about how God is all there is and we're all a part of God, let's stop lying. Part of the human experience is we want to be seen and we want to be picked out so somebody can walk up to us personally, be like, you are so awesome. And then we get to pretend like we're being modest when inside we just love that somebody told us we're awesome. Okay, we all want that. It's a good feeling. But to get that feeling of greatness where people are recognizing your greatness, we get to go through difficult and uncomfortable things, situations, experiences. And so when I think about roots and wings, I think about how in the beginning, I was so comfortable in my own household. I had both my parents, and you know, we listened to just all this awesome music, and the house stayed clean, and mom was always making soul food. And when I think of that feeling I got in my own household, I get comfortable. And then I get angry because I think about the time when my household changed. And as I got older, I got responsibilities and things that I was sheltered from, I got to actually see. And just as I got older, this comfortable box that I loved so much just came down little by little as I got older. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I'd say that that's really what adulthood is for all of us, right? I'd say much of adulthood is getting over our childhood and forgiving our parents for not being God. But what I'm realizing, the bigger picture from this situation of missing that comfortable box that I was in during my childhood, is that this place we call the universe is our comfortable box. And when we accept everything that comes with it, it really is a beautiful and peaceful feeling we get. I'm talking about, I see people who are good, right in our philosophy, people who are amazing. They talk about how, you know, meditating on the BART train when an argument or some loud, obnoxious music is playing, they can meditate through that. They can see the God in just all they come across because they've got it. You are indestructible at that point. Once we recognize that all we come across is nothing more than a reflection and extension of ourselves, we are indestructible at that point. You can go wherever you want. Just don't go past the universe. That's it. You know, not too far. You don't got to be afraid. Universe isn't as big as we think it is. You know, things travel so fast in the universe anyway, especially karma. Boom. Just don't go past the universe. If it's in the universe, you can have it. That's it. What are we ready to experience that requires us going past our comfort zone? What are we ready to get? This is another thing I'm learning to be comfortable with. You know, the universe is always ready to give us stuff, like eager. Like, I know we've all had that one friend or relative who, you know, what they love doing most is being the person who pays for stuff and gives stuff away. We all have that one friend or family member. Not all of us like that person, but we all know that person. The universe is that. The universe has that same feeling. Just I just can't wait to help people, and I just love helping people, and I love the fact that I can afford to help people. The universe is eager to give us exactly what we want, specific to, down to whatever it is. We just got to be willing to get past our comfort zone, to realize that the entire universe is our comfortable home. When I think of this concept, I think about the times when I had just started to run those streets. You know, there comes that time in a young man's life when he's right past teenager, and he's now a young adult, and he gets to really run these streets like a grown man and see what these streets are about. I've been sheltered from this my whole life. Now I get to explore it. And with running those streets, sometimes I did have a car, sometimes I did not. So those times I didn't have a car, and me and my homeboys are just walking around East Oakland, we used to always do this funny thing. We're walking around East Oakland, talking how men do, cussing, swearing, whatever. And whenever we would get close to a church, it would always be one of us who would be like, hey, hold on, man, don't cuss right now. We're in front of a church. And yet, as soon as we get to the block right across the street from the church, literally, the church is on the corner. We get to the corner right across the street. Look at, now we can start cussing again. Now we safe. You know, God's only on this block radius. God ain't across the street where the Jack in the Box is. Just the church. God is each and every place we are. That sounds so cliche these days because all of us want to, but come on now, let's really understand that. All those places we are afraid to go, God is there too. There are too many stories we know of where at a prison or a concentration camp, somebody found God. Too many of those stories. People found God at the crack house. Stop it. Where are we willing to go to find God in different expressions? We're used to the expression of God we're used to, but who's willing to see God in different lights, in different ways? I have found God in losing a fight. Yes, I have. A fight I started and lost tremendously. That helped me find God. It's like the joke that Eddie Griffin says that, you know, we say we shouldn't have bullies in school, but bullies is actually a good thing because you learn where you are in the totem pole. The joke goes, he's being facetious, but the joke goes, you thought you were Billy Bad until you ran into Billy Bad. Billy Bad showed you who really is bad. And that's when you realize, hey, I'm good at math. See, that's what that did for me. Let's think about the times we've been trampled, the times we've been, you know, that biggest fear we had, just as long as that doesn't happen to me, God. And it happened. And then you realized, wow, that was not as bad as I think. You are indestructible at that point. Your biggest fear happened to you and you survived it. Now you can't be afraid of nothing. For what? This is what I'm discovering right now. Like those things that I've been afraid of my whole life. It's time for me to at least learn about it. So I'm not just afraid about it. Bees, I used to be afraid of bees my whole life. Like if a bee entered the classroom, we might as well just cancel school that day. I couldn't handle it. So Reverend E was like, listen, boy, anything you're afraid of, you're obligated to learn about. So she made me learn about bees and wasps and all that. And I still don't like them in a place that I'm at, but at least I won't be paralyzed with fear. Another thing was growing up in Berkeley, my hippie family, my hippie experience, you know, okay, two people may square off in a honorable duel between two people, fine. But I never heard of people getting jumped. Well, when Dad bought his first house in Pittsburgh, before everybody else was moving up there now, I mean, it was like, talk about open fields and farm animals and occasional house. That's what it was when we lived in Pittsburgh. And when you went to Central Junior High, that was a known thing. People jumped each other there. It was very frightening for me. And so there were many times in my life where I look back and like, why did I punk out? Why did I let that person take advantage of me in that situation? And I was afraid of being jumped. And finally, my father got tired of it. Like, boy, why do you let people disrespect you like that? Why don't you stand up for yourself? I said, well, Dad, I'm afraid of being jumped. And he said, boy, look, sometimes you just got to get over that. Sometimes it's like, look, when it happens, it's not that bad. And I thought that was the worst advice. Don't ever tell your son no macho stuff. Like what? Once you get jumped, it's not that bad. Are you really telling your son that right now, Dad? But that's all he had for me. He was tired of watching his son just live his life as a coward and letting people run over him. And guess what? I'm talking a good decade and a half later. I'm coming from somewhere on cloud 9, happy, not paying attention, and realizing the situation. Oh my goodness, not only am I being jumped, I'm being robbed. They took my phone, took my house keys, ripped my shirt. That's the part that hurt the most because it was a Fat Farm shirt. You can't find those no more. And when they got up and ran off, the first thing I thought when I stood to my feet was, wow, that wasn't that bad as I thought. Whatever it is that is keeping you in your comfort zone, it is not as bad as you think. In order for our wings to have enough strength in them to go to the places we haven't gone yet, we have to use those things. We get to take off, we get to fall on our back, we get to bump into things, we get to have people laugh at us, we get to get good at using these wings so they can take us farther than we've ever been. So who's ready? Who has an experience they're ready to look at? Who has something they're ready to call to in their life and they're ready to leave the porch and go past the universe? Now, I think we're pretty used to me. I can run my mouth all day because I just talking about God there's nothing I get more enjoyment out of than just talking about God and how you are a part of God, literally God in the flesh. Like nothing makes me more happy than that. So I can talk about it until the Bills win the Super Bowl. But I am also very curious about who else has something on their heart, because hearing you talk also helps me reflect on my life, and we're here to sharpen each other. So I can keep talking, but I also just want to make sure I open it up for those who want to talk about what's on their heart. Who's ready to leave the porch? Who's ready to use their wings? And even though we love our roots, we get to sprout more leaves on top of those. I'm just rambling right now, y'all.
So if you have a question or you want to respond to Luchan's inquiry, go ahead and turn on your camera and your microphone and raise your hand. Peter will recognize you. Or you can use the reaction button to raise your hand, like I just did, and lower it. And there you go. So
Doty's got her hand up.
Doty, yeah, Doty, go ahead.
Luchan, I love to hear you speak. And the comfort zone that you have in talking about anything, it's amazing to me, because that's my on the porch. I am very uncomfortable talking in front of people, and I really try to work at this. But was there ever a time when you were uncomfortable in your presentation or in speaking in front of people?
Yes. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. I want to make sure you complete before I even answer your question, because I didn't know if you were complete or not.
I am.
Oh, okay. Yes. I was a very shy kid. It's funny you asked that. A very shy kid, did not really like the spotlight. I don't know when it happened, but a lot of it was Reverend E kind of pushing me to always be in front of people and speak, but something that really hit home was when it might have been Reverend Margaret too. I think it was Reverend Margaret when the family was still going to our center when it was First Church. And she talked about how someone needs to hear you tell your story, and it needs to be you because someone is watching you and they just need to hear it from you, whatever your story was. So when I heard stories of a lot of my favorite tough guys talking about how they used to sleep with night lights and how they wet the bed till they were well in their preteens. And, when I heard all these things, it made me, okay, well, I can't be afraid to tell my story if these dudes are telling theirs, And it really is important because there's someone watching you. Us, there's always someone watching us who we're not even aware is watching us. And they need us to shine our light at full capacity because it gives them the courage and strength to do it for themselves. So I think one of the first things that really hit home for me was when Michael Jordan talked about how he was terrible at basketball when he first tried it. I would think that if I was as good as him, I'd probably lie like, no, of course. I've always been good at this. I don't want my opponents to know I have to work hard for this. I want them thinking it just came easy. But just something simple like that, and the fact that he could laugh at the fact that he got cut from teams and went home crying when he lost games and all of that, it also showed me that I don't have to take myself so serious because God's the biggest practical joker anyway. I'm going to get a joke playing on me eventually anyway, right? So, I might as well just laugh through it.
Okay, I'm going to try
it. You got this. And here's the thing, your story already just, I don't know if you're aware of it, but your light already shines in a way that attracts people. And so we want to know what you have to say anyway. And it's going to be inspirational. That time you slipped and fell in front of everybody in high school. We need to hear that story because somebody slipped and fell this year and they're still beating themselves up about it. So if they can laugh about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Something I love talking about always are my most embarrassing moments. I don't know why I love doing that. I think it's because we all have them. And I think it's a way to just really at least heal myself. Because there was a time when I really did take myself way too serious. And, for what? It's just so fun to not have to. Another thing my dad used to say was, boy, with features like yours, you gotta have a sense of humor. You can't be, you can't be serious that way. No one's gonna believe you, So.
Lita has her hands up.
Yes. Lita, did you want to say something? Lita?
It's been a long time. It's nice to see you. I just want to say, I appreciate what you said about being jumped and the fear you had around that. Nobody wants to get jumped, but you went through it and you found out it wasn't as bad as you thought. And then you didn't fear it anymore because you had been through that experience. And sometimes it's hard to, when we fear something, to go through it because I had that experience myself, not being jumped, but I was with a group of people and it was a prayerful group and everyone said their prayers. And because these were more experienced people who prayed, I felt that I couldn't meet that standard. And anyway, I said my prayer and I was kind of shaking, but I did the prayer. And afterwards, the person in charge commended me on my prayer and said it was beautiful, but I was comparing myself to those who were more experienced. But I did need to do that because I didn't know I was okay at that time. So that was a deep experience for me. So I know exactly where you're coming from with being jumped. So I guess I jumped through the hoop. So thank you for sharing that, Lucy.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Lita.
It's great. What we fear most, once we go through it, it ends up being our biggest blessing.
Read, Mardia. Go ahead.
Greetings, everyone. And I'm blessed once again to see my dear one, Luchan, at the helm. I want to say that being jumped was a surprise to me in the sense of this one girlfriend I had when we were little. She's still my good friend today after all these years. However, she used to chase me in school, and that was probably, I guess, maybe first, second grade or so. And there's this particular day, it was real snowing outside. And I grew up back east, mind you, in New Jersey. So there was a lot of snow this day. And so we could go inside because everybody was outside throwing snowballs that wanted to throw snowballs and what have you. So I went in and this dear one was chasing me. And my sister.
Oh,
Right when the story gets good.
She'll come back.
maybe.
Maybe.
The blessings of Zoom, y'all. You know.
Like Zoom is like BET in the 80s.
Hold that thought.
Okay, she's coming back in on another line. Let's see what happens. Hey, B. Can't hear you right now.
Oh, she's gonna come back in. Why don't you go ahead, Joan, till she comes back.
Okay, so hi, Luchan,
Morning,
everybody.
Joan.
So walking to school, junior high and high school, every morning, there was a couple of girlfriends and I who would walk together and would get jumped. And they would grab our bodies, they would grab the upper body and would put our binders and books up and then grab our lower body. So we were never really safe walking to and from school, but I have a really fairly awesome memory of my best friend Liz, her older sister, her dad, who really loved her, gave her a blue Camaro. And when she was like 18, and she loved my best friend, her sister Liz. And so Liz got to drive this blue Camaro. And we would drive through Oakland, especially through MacArthur Broadway. And we had this recording machine and would pull up to a red light and I would roll the window down and I would say to the driver, "Hi, I'm man on the street. Would you mind answering the question of the day?" I had this question of the day and we recorded all of these fun conversations of surprising people. And at the same time, we were kind of perplexed by this group of women who had these really high shoes and really short dresses on MacArthur and Broadway. So, you know, it was like so Oakland growing up, which I really feel blessed by and honored to have had these experiences, which you could call negative, but I really don't, and I feel blessed. So that's what I wanted to share.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Joan.
That was important. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. B, why don't you go ahead? You're back. B, Marja, go ahead. You're muted.
I hear you.
Okay,
There you go.
so what I was saying, that this dear friend of mine, we're still friends, but my sister had said to me the time when people were outside throwing snowballs and Joni was chasing me through the halls in the basement of the school, my sister said, if you don't get her, I'm gonna get you. So I had to turn around with my lunchbox and make sure that Joni didn't hit me, that I was gonna swing my lunchbox and hit her. And so that after that, I was no longer afraid. But there's a statement I want to say too, that Reverend used to say, the people that you meet out here in this world, you've already met them if you have family. And I'm so grateful that my family kind of,
Oops,
Uh-oh.
she's gone again.
So sorry that happened.
I know, we're gonna get her in bits and pieces, I'm afraid. Is there
Yeah.
anybody else that would like to share? Or have a question?
She had a gym for us too. I felt it.
What about that statement she made, Luchan, around everybody you meet is a member of your family in essence?
That was a juicy one, right? Yeah, and it's very true. Very, very true. Matter of fact, I think about the analogy, and of course, I didn't want to make the whole service about my experience about getting jumped, but it is something I was afraid of, and it's for a lot of us, it's the ultimate fear. Is, oh my goodness, there's more than one person, and they're all trying to surround me and cause me physically harm. That is a very frightening thing. And yeah, growing up in Oakland, you know, something Joan just talked about is there is this element of tough that you're expected to have to walk these streets. You have to pay your dues. It's almost like, look, I've bled on the streets. I've made other people bleed on the streets. You're gonna have to do the same thing. And it's frightening because, yo, I don't want to hurt anybody, and I also want to get hurt. And hearing that everyone you meet out here, you've already met in your household, oftentimes in growing up in Oakland, your father or your uncles or your big brother is the first person who actually puts their dukes up at you and says, all right, now I'm about to show you how to fight. Me, it was my dad. My dad is putting his dukes up, expecting me to swing at him. Dude, I'm not fighting you. Are you out of your mind? Now, that may sound like child abuse. That may sound terrible, but let me tell you something. Having to swing back at that scary man is the reason why, instead of me running, my mama had to teach me how to meditate because people weren't safe anymore. Listen, you know that there's something that's not talked about enough in this philosophy, and I'm tired of waiting for other people to have the courage to talk about it. Okay. Sometimes in life, you will be required to address confrontation head on. That will happen in life. God is always going to require us to move past our comfort zone and to be someone else. There are people in life who don't know any other language except violence and confrontation, and the only way to get them to respect you is to show them you are willing to speak their language as well as them. Sometimes that happens. I am the most hippie, peaceful, non-champa, wearing yoga pants when it's not even time to go to yoga person. No, I am that dude. And I also realize that with that comes times where I may have to express another side of myself that I do not like showing. That doesn't mean I'm less spiritual. That doesn't mean I'm less science of mind. It means that there are many faces of God. And sometimes we are required to express all of them. I don't like confrontation at all. Oftentimes I try to cower and hope the person just gets to the point and doesn't do it. No. And here's the other thing.
that time when I was in my bully phase and left the house ready to fight, I needed someone to put me in my place so that I can be who I am today. And had that person not put me in my place, who knows the destructive path I would have kept going down. So that's another reason why we are required, when that person is trying to push our boundaries and treat us unfairly and may even physically harm us, it is time for us to rise to the occasion, to show that person, look, you don't get to go through life doing that. Now, I'm just talking about one part of this thing about roots and wings. I'm just talking about the most extreme. But understand there are many parts of life where we say, I do not want to have to face that, but that is God too. That part is God too. I'm talking about our deepest, most frightening fear in that is God too. Why? I don't know. That's up for us to, decide once we go through it. I know me personally, I've had a lot of people who I love very dearly pass in my life. I experienced that very early when my cousin Patrick was killed at the age of 20, and I was only 8 years old. That was like the only big brother I had at the time. That was my first experience with death. And so then seeing my Aunt Mina, rest her soul, who was the guardian of our family. I'm talking about when it was time for somebody to call someone, to have people intimidated, for you to let people know you had people in your family who are willing to take it there, we all knew, don't call Auntie Mina unless you don't care if that person lives or dies. Like, he's gonna overdo it. Like, what? They sneeze close to you? Get the pistol. Like, whoa, Auntie, sneeze too close to me. That was her. And to then see her cry and go through that pain of losing her son, for me to see that at 8 years old, to watch this woman cry like a baby, holler and scream, that changed me forever. But guess what? You bring anybody in your family going through grief. I don't care what the grief is. I don't care who died. Bring them to me. I know what that feeling is. I can pray for them. I can comfort that person. I've been doing this since I was 8. Don't be afraid of whatever this thing called life has to offer you. It's only for your greater good. It's only for your greater good. Think of everybody we admire. They have some pain about them that draws us to them. Your pain is your goal. Don't be afraid of that. When I look at a bodybuilder who has sculpted his body to where it literally, he looks like a freak of nature, where it literally looks like Zeus had just carved this person out of ice. That person spent hours in the gym. Their relationships suffered because they were in the gym that long. That's pain we're looking at. When I look at that guy who's just so suave, he knows how to dress, he knows what to say, he's always smelling good, and that dude, please, that's pain. You know how painful it is? You gotta wake up earlier than everybody else, spend hours in the bathroom, you're smelling good, and you gotta go through all of that. It's expensive. You can't dance as hard as you want to because you can't sweat that Armani out. Nobody wants to sweat in Armani. It's not fun. We don't even gotta go through athletes because we know the pain and time they sacrifice. We know everything costs something.
That's right.
And the beautiful thing about it is your wallet is already overflowing. The answer is already yes anyway. Your credit is good with the universe. So let's just get what we want.
Yeah. Lita, you have something?
Yes.
We can only see the top of your head. Can you shift your?
Peter, she can't. That's as good as it's gonna get.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead, Lita.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to share an experience I had when I was a child, about 8 years old. I was coming home from a friend's house who lived several streets over. And as I got to this one house, the little boy was outside with a bow and arrow. And he said he was gonna shoot me with the bow and arrow. And I said, no, you're not. And he shot me in the face, and the arrow hit me right underneath my eye. And fortunately it was a wooden tip and not a metal tip, but oh my God, I was so scared. I ran all the way home and told my father and my mother, and my dad said, okay, take me back, take me to his house. And I said, Dad, I don't want to go. Come on, we're going to his house. So when we went back to the little boy's house, my father spoke with his father, gave him a good piece of my dad's mind. And we left, and my dad said what he had to say, but my dad didn't take nothing off of nobody. Okay. So, and he protected his daughters. And so I was still in pain, and we walked home, and Daddy said, he'll never do that again. I said, I know, because I ain't walking by his house anymore. And I took a different route. I was still afraid. I mean, he shot me right underneath my eye, and I had a scar there for many years. But that was pain, and that was fear. And it took a while for me to get over the fear more so than it did the pain. But I had the support of my father. He had my back, and he was going to make sure that never happened to me again. So I just wanted to share that story from long, long ago.
That's a great story. Good.
I'm complete.
I remember the time when it came. Oh, go ahead. Is there someone else?
Yeah. Kevin, you want to
Kevin.
go?
Yeah.
Oh.
Kevin.
Hi.
Hey, but before you say
Hey.
anything, sir, I want to say I really love your last name.
No. Yeah, that was a stroke of luck right there. Yeah, man. Yeah, quite the coincidence. I'll take it though. But yeah. So I'm pretty new here. So I mean, maybe this is something that you guys talk about a lot, but I was really interested by that idea that you said, that idea about going beyond the universe and like kind of like and what that really means. And I think that it's a really interesting kind of way that you're talking about it, about like kind of like the self-overcoming thing that you're talking about. And since we're talking about being jumped, for me, the first time I got jumped, I was about 20. And I was just coming home at night, being stupid, headphones on, what have you. And it's funny because, I was never really like that scared about it. But like, when I first noticed that, there are these two guys, one's coming in front of me and one's coming behind me, you get scared. And so that's the first thing. So I was scared. And then like, we ended up fighting and, they punched me in the face. It was fun. I got two good punches back. So I was pretty happy about that. But then the next day I went to the police and I was like, hey, I got jumped last night. I was on this place. They took my wallet. Like, hey, what can I do? And I told them I was 20 and they were like, well, we're honestly not going to pursue this. I was like, what? They was like, yeah, you're 20 years old. You were probably drunk. And I wasn't. But that's the thing is like, so that fear that I first had, I kind of got over that. But then when I went to the police, after that, I got angry and I was really mad about it for a long time. So, you start with that first bit of negativity, that fear, and you kind of get over that. There's that overcoming there. There's that kind of going beyond yourself. But then after that, I got mad and it took me a long time. I'm still not quite there, to be honest, where I can forgive like the people who are supposed to be there to protect you. They weren't. And I'm still working on that kind of bit of forgiveness. And then like I told my friends and family about it. And they're like, whatever. It was only like $60. They only took your wallet. And honestly, that hurt because it felt like they didn't care as much as I kind of wanted them to. And like, you forgive them, but like there's still like, so you had that fear, I had that anger, I had that hurt. And I feel like kind of what you were talking about, like once you kind of get over that pain, that negativity, that's kind of how you go beyond the porch. That's how you go beyond the universe. And like, I really like how you were talking about that. I think that's really important. It's really powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I'm glad I came tonight.
Yeah, glad you did
Thank
too.
you.
Welcome to our community. I mean that.
Thanks.
Yes. There's this part about contact sports that I love. In basketball, it's the tip off. In football, it's the coin toss. In boxing, it's the stare down, right? Where both fighters are staring each other's eyes. We want to see who flinches first. And what I thought when I was first looking at these moments in sports, I thought it was a moment where, oh, this is intimidation. We're trying to see who's going to scare the other team. But what I realized, no, that's not what it is. What we're showing in those moments is pain. We're comparing pain. And what we mean by pain is life experience. See, looking in Mike Tyson's eyes is frightening because, you know, that man there has been through all kinds of pain that most people have not gone through. And he survived it with flying colors, which then makes you think, well, then what is my little punch going to do to this man's face if he's been through the stuff he's been through? No, I don't want to be in the ring with this man. This is stupid. That's what that's about. We're comparing pain. When I was playing fullback, my favorite thing to do from the backfield was to maintain eye contact with the linebacker in front of me. It made him uncomfortable because you can tell when you look at my eyes, this little black boy has been through some pain. Another thing that's great about our pain is it is our armor. I've been through that, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, another thing we practice in this community is if we believe God is all there is, and those people that we don't see the God in, we get to look at something about them and find the God in them. My mother loves doing these exercises with me because it keeps me sharp. And so she brought up, I'm sure, a lot of our least favorite president recently. So she brought this man up and talked about how he's gone broke and declared bankruptcy several times in his life. Now, bankruptcy is a fear for I'm sure many of us. It's like, I'm a failure. Bankruptcy, this is it. This is my biggest fear. He's done it multiple times. Yet it also shows why his wealth is that he has wealth consciousness. So therefore, he's not afraid of calling in bankruptcy. Now, we could, use the whole always privileged and he grew up with money. It doesn't matter. Consciousness is consciousness. Does not matter. Hate him all you want. He has some valuable information we can all use from. And that's one thing I look at. See, I want to be rich too, but I'm always afraid to invest my money and my time. And I'm always afraid. It's like, if you're afraid, then you have to understand, in order for me to get this experience of wealth that I have not had yet, I have to do something I have not done yet, which means I get to get my scared behind off the porch. I have to do it. I was never that boy. Let me just tell y'all right now. My mom will tell you. I was never that boy who was like, oh, no, you're a girl. You can't play with me. Girls are yucky. That, Luchan Baker ain't never had that experience. They went never know girls are yucky, get away. All right? That's number one. Okay? But with that also came the fact that I was liking girls for a long time when girls were not liking boys. So it was a whole lot of me getting my heart broken, me getting laughed at for even opening my mouth. Happened a lot. But I don't want to not meet people. I mean, I want to have a partner in life to get over the fact that she might be like, oh, no, I ain't feeling it. The haircut's done. Those aren't real Jordans. Your cologne stick, whatever. And, girls at that age will cut deep. Oh, my goodness. We don't give boys enough credit for the rejection they deal with at that school dance. We don't. It is brutal. But you got to get over it, homie. You have to. Guess what? I'm looking at my daughter now. My boys are looking at what she's going. I'm seeing the experiences that we have from the divine feminine side. That's a whole other thing. Like, wow. Thinking about if I put on, my makeup and got my hair all laid and fit into this dress, and not one guy walked up and asked me to dance. Are you trying to die? Burn this whole place. I'm crazy. I'm getting it now. Now I understand why it's important for us to compliment. Me, I don't like to compliment because I don't like sounding like everybody else. That was the whole thing about the single world. You got a navel ring. Now I got to sound like every other. And then, I just don't like sounding like everybody else. But I get it now. Like, those compliments are important. I'm realizing that as a dude because I did not realize the effort that went into that. I get to get past my comfort zone of being like, oh, I don't want to say the same compliment to everybody. No, it's important. to the board.
Yeah, she keeps.
Great. Joan, you got something? Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, talking about not necessarily physical pain, but experiences of seeing these streetwalkers when I was, like 15, and going to Oakland High. There was one day I had to go during lunchtime into the office, and it was like this long, dark, scary, empty space. And so I walked inside, and I heard this voice that said, "Baby, can I pimp you?" I turned around, I said, "Excuse me?" It was this guy, Willie Lyons, who was like 22, hadn't graduated. He had this fancy hat with the feathers and the brocade vest and everything, and he seemed kind of surprised that I questioned him, and he said, "Baby, can I pimp you?" And I was like this 15-year-old virgin, and I couldn't help myself. I just burst out laughing, and I think I hurt his feelings, but that was, that was just kind of normal experience of, hey, you just kind of go with the flow and not necessarily respect, but respond honestly, spontaneously to stuff. So that's what I wanted to share.
It's a beautiful share because that also shows how pushing past our fear also enlightens others. He probably got a job after that.
I hope so.
I'm not as good as this as I thought. Maybe UPS is hiring.
Poor Willie Lyons.
We're gonna have to save all these Oakland stories for just a special night on Oakland Stories, Luchan. Our time is drawing rapidly to a close here, so I'm gonna ask you all to show your appreciation for Luchan tonight, taking us outside of the 4 stop signs. Thank you, Luchan, so much. Getting us off the porch a little bit, and to think about that and the importance of our roots and our wings. Want to recognize Reverend Jerry is finally in her home. Safe out.
I can't imagine. I'm so sorry I missed this evening, but I'll watch the review.
There you go. We're perfect that you're here.
Hi everyone. Thank you. I was so sad not to be able to make it, but I managed to come in at the end. So just you all. Thank you.
Okay, great. So with that in mind, we got some announcements. So Helene's got some pictures for us. This Sunday, November 13th, Reverend D. Jacqueline Edwards will be sharing the same thing as Luchan, roots and wings. So please join us in person with meditation at 10 and the service at 10:30. We also stream our Sunday service live and directly to YouTube, and the link is on the homepage of our website if you choose to watch the service from home. Next Wednesday, November 16th, Congregant Sam Lejean will present ideas on HOME, Healing Opportunities Manifest Everywhere. Meditation at 6:30 and service at 7. Our Wednesday night services will remain on Zoom. Practitioner Emeritus K. Suzanne Massey from East Bay Church of Religious Science is offering a workshop called Transform Step by Step on the Labyrinth on Sunday, November 20th from 1 to 2:30 in the afternoon, right after service. And where is that going to be? It's going to be on our labyrinth rug in the back of our sanctuary, of course. The cost is $25. for all of our classes, some that are already underway and some that are coming, and for to learn more about this particular event on the Labyrinth, please check out the classes page of our website, or you can learn more from the Thursday Village News newsletter. If you missed the news, we have a new senior minister, and it's Reverend Sunshine Michelle Coleman. So welcome home, Reverend Sunshine, and watch, because we'll have a notice pretty soon of her start date. In the meantime, we have Reverend Jerry, who's here with us tonight, and we're so glad she's here as well. Let's give our new minister a warm welcome by giving her a budget she can grow with. I know, Jerry, I knew you were going to chuckle on this one. Pledge cards were mailed out this week, so return your card or complete it online and join the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living's Prosperity Galaxy. Our rocket is taking off. Make sure you're on board. Once you've pledged, get your star from the check-in desk in the sanctuary foyer on Sunday and add it to the galaxy that is in the sanctuary. The more stars we have, the brighter our 2023 financial future will be. To fill in the online form, click the donate icon on the homepage of our website, and that will take you to the pledge campaign. Have you joined? Oops, that's a repeat, skip through. That's all of our announcements, y'all. So much shorter this week. So as always, for information on all that is going on at the Oakland Center, visit our website, oaklandcsl.org. Be sure to check out our events page. And don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you're not receiving it already, you can still sign up for our newsletter, as I said earlier in the program, clicking on the I'm New icon on the homepage of our website, and you'll see the sign up area on that page. Take a good look at all these folks. Several of them are on the call tonight with us, all doing their work at the center, and you can contact them for more information. All that information is on our website. So as we are grateful for the folks that support us at the center, we're grateful to you for financially supporting us and those that do the work and put in the time. So it's our offering period right now. Whatever it is that you have to offer to the center, financial, time, or talent, just hold that gift close to your heart and follow along with me as I read the offering statement. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies this offering. It blesses all that I am, all that I give, and all that I circulate. Thank you, love, as me. So I released that donation into the basket, the universal basket that Luchan talked about. It's never too big. There's plenty of room. And we know that whatever it is that you decide to give does not only bless our community, but goes right outside these gates and blesses the external areas of our lives as well. So with that in mind, if you want to know how you can make a donation, you can do it through our webpage by clicking on that red icon right there that says donate. You can use credit card, has the address for a check. You can Zelle, you can text, or you can join us in person to put it in the offering basket that we have at the center on Sundays. Oh, gratitude for everything that's taken place tonight. Thank you, Luchan, so much for speaking and opening us up in prayer and holding the consciousness on your roots and our wings. Want to thank Reverend Jerry for making it in on time. Want to thank the Zoom team for everything that they do to keep this event going strong. For Peter and Helene and Sabrina and Alice, thank you guys so much for your work. Always our administrator, Constance Chapman. Thank you, Constance, for everything that you do to make our Wednesday nights so in perfect order. So with that in mind, as we go to get ready to leave, Luchan, if you would, we're going to close out our event the same way we started, as we do all of our events here at the center, with prayer. Luchan? Luchan, you're muted, darling. Stay in the universe.
Stay in the universe, we can still hear when it's silent. And so, continuing in this consciousness, we remember the truth. We remember that there is only God, regardless of experiences, regardless of appearances, regardless of whatever is going on at the moment. God is the only power in existence. And so we celebrate in this life, knowing that we welcome the growth. We welcome expanding our comfort zone, knowing that the universe is our comfort zone. And that all experience that happen within this life experience are for our greater good, always, regardless of how it feels. We continue on through this week fired up, aware of our God self, aware that there is no comfort zone, for all that we see is the God experience. And the earth, the universe, this life experience is our turf and where we rehearse. So I'm giving thanks for this and so much more, for God is that abundance. I allow it to be and place it in the hands of the universe, where the answer is always yes. I allow it to be. I allow it to manifest. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is. Amen.
Amen.
So it is. Amen. Mhm.